Hi, this is the part that I'm working on, having one or two problems with, and I'll talk you through what it is and what I'm trying to do. Now it's a plastic, well, it will be a plastic molding. We'll be making it in an SLS 3D print initially. The thing measures only 36 millimeters from one side to the other, 45.5 millimeters in length. So it's not very big. It carries water. Water flows in through one port, comes up here, it goes down a tube connected on here, comes back up the tube, goes through this hole into this chamber, and then it would escape through the hole here and come out here. So it crosses the flow over. And right, what I need to do in order to mold it, I need to take some of the meat out because we've got different thicknesses. And here's one area where I've taken some of the meat out of the material. Now you see what I've done is put a recess in down to just above the halfway line here, with a view to doing the same on the other side by taking meat out on this side, so leaving a web down the middle, and which would be a broadly equal thickness to the webs here. But you will see if I just section that, you can see even though here I've taken this material out, the thickness of the web there is not the same as the thickness of the web here. So it's not going to be possible to get even thicknesses throughout. That's not the objective, but it's to try and remove large masses like this so that we get it much closer. And you'll see up on this side here, if I were to put a recess in here, because of that O-ring there, I can't thin this down to the same extent I can thin it down here. But there's perhaps options there, which I don't need to go into, but we might be able to do some things. But for the exercise here is to try and remove some of the material out from these areas, and I'll do that on both sides, here and here, down to where it meets. So we're taking the material out down to a surface which is offset from the surface of these different bores. Now these bores, so I'm going to show you there again. I'm going to take the material out so that it's offset from the surface here. Now that won't be much material there, but as we go down, these bores are stepped. It's obviously more material we're taking out further down. As we come in between here, we're much deeper again. But there will always be a web here, so the material will be taken out and around here, and that would be, of course, through this surface. I'll probably retain a web through the center here as well, so there'll be a shape here that I want to take down and then follow the contour of these offset from these surfaces here. So I think I'm wandering with the camera a bit there. So what I'll do is just show you this sketch that I've got. I can just find that, bear with me. Is it? No, not that one. That one there. Right. So you can see if I want to take this out, I would want to extrude, cut that down to meet the surface. Right. So if I want to have that profiled, then the bottom of that profiled along here, around here, then I need to, I believe, now this is where you're going to tell me where I'm right or wrong, is to create an offset surface from these surfaces. So it would be, I don't know, 2 millimeters off, let's say, around both these profiles. So if I were to do that, then what I've done so far is to create surface offsets here. So I'll just show you here. There's I'll just can't see that. What I'm going to do also is let's take this boss. Oh, should be able to see through that. No, boss extrude. Well, my computer's a bit slow. I'm sure yours is much more powerful than mine. There we go. Right. So you can see I've created some surfaces here, and if I go down a bit further, I think I've got this down here. There's another offset. Now these offset surfaces are actually only just offset by like 0.1 of a millimeter. Then the view was, what I was thinking was be then to take the cut shape and take that down, but to offset it from the surface. The reason I was doing this because these bores are tapered. There's like 1 degree taper on there for moulding purposes, and I didn't want to create problems with having gaps where I've got these vertical faces on here, a vertical face there and a radial face here, and if it's tapered it might start to get complicated and I end up with gaps. So I've tried to so I thought I'll have the offset surface, but only offset by a very small amount. Now that's all well and good. So in theory I should be able to just have an extrude cut down to that surface or offset from that surface. But the trouble is, at the moment, of course, it's going to cut straight through this gap down here and go, well, all the way down, effectively. If I'm offset from this surface and the surface doesn't exist there, it'll carry on. So I need to put a surface in at the bottom there as well. So what I've got here is this a plane. So now we have a flat surface here, a curved surface here, and then coming down to a flat surface here, then over here. Now I think I'm right in saying that in order to extrude my cutout down to that surface, I can only pick one surface up to extrude down to. So I can either pick the flat surface or I can pick the curved surface. So then what I need to do is, I think, stitch those together so that becomes one continuous surface. So then when I cut it down, I pick the one surface to go to, and it will just take this shape or offset from that surface. And that's where I get a bit unstuck when I try and stitch these two together. I found it doesn't help having the end open like that. So I've tried to cover that end up, and so then use this as a tool to cut through the plane, and if in effect leave that whole of that shape in the plane, and so that I can then lose the bit in between here and just have a continuous plane that runs around that profile and is joined to it. But well, that doesn't seem to work so well. So let's just, I think I've got another offset. So where are we? Here we are. So here we are. That's putting an end over here. I've used for that a boundary surface. Again, I'm not sure that I've used the right thing there. And so far as I know, I'm not sure if we have, that's completely closing up there. But anyway, I'm hoping that what I've shown you there will be sufficient for you to see what the problem is. But really, what I want to end up with a hole that's shaped there, goes down and then is offset from that surface on both sides. So we have a web down the middle, and you have a cut that side and a cut this side, going down to just off the center. So we would stand off the center and we have a web that runs around the center, just like we do at this end, where this cut does not go all the way down to the center. So that'll leave a web of material. If we put a similar cut in on this side, we'll have a web of material. That web wants to continue all the way through the part. And also, I think, to have a web that runs through here as well, a vertical web that runs through there. Obviously, that'll have a hole through it, but we'll have a vertical web through there. So that's where we come back again to the sketch, as I've got it there. Hopefully you can see that. Have that sketch as it is on the surface there, would leave us a web through here. If we do a similar thing on this side as well, we have a vertical web there and a horizontal web around. So I think that's about as much as I can say, really. What I'm after is, if you're able to do that, to give me that cut profile, then I need to know what it is you've done in order that I can do it myself next time. And why isn't it working for me? Why stitching it just doesn't seem to produce. I get errors when I try and stitch it together. Maybe there's gaps in there or something like that. I'm not sure, or perhaps I'm just doing it wrong. But anyway, if you can have a little look at that, I'll be really grateful to you. Thanks very much.